pause and find the cause. I am the co-creator of my life. This month's theme with the Center for Spiritual Living is the inner life. I am the co-creator of my life. Pause and find the cause. With cause being that invisible essence, that pure love that Marianne Williamson talks about in her reading. Not the thing that is happening to me. But I am curious how many, when you hear the word cause, go to immediately, of the things that are happening to me. Like there's an investigation to undertake and to find out why, instead of just having that knowing, and that knowing that God is and I am. That for me, when those little words and things come up, and how I react to them really tells me where I am today. We hear all the time that thoughts are things, the power of positive thinking. What we focus on, we create. This concept is amazing if at this point in your spiritual awakening, you've figured out where it's all come from, where all of those things kind of line up and how they show up and how they work. But for me, for a long time, they were words that I knew, right? They were affirmations that I believed, but I never had them broken down in a manner that allowed me to apply them to my daily life. That's where the change really started taking place for me. For my talk today, that's what we're going to do. The inner life, the life inside. You'll notice theme after theme and question after question that we're asked to turn within, right? So knowing that nothing on the outside is going to change until we change what's going on the inside, right? So what is the inside, right? So we break it down just a little bit more. I see it as the combination of all of our experiences up to this moment and our reactions to them, both consciously and unconsciously, both in this lifetime, and if you believe it, past lifetimes. When you think about that, and you put all those layers on it, you're like, wow, turning within seems like a really daunting project right now. It's like, oh my gosh, it was like, oh, turn within and blah, 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 right? All the time. It's like, well, it's actually kind of a big deal, but it doesn't have to be. What does it mean to be a co-creator, and how do you do that? For me, my talks and my approach to a spiritual awakening is to share practical application and tools. Sometimes I hear words that feel very far away, but for me, I'm a hands-on learner. Give me a tool, a basic direction, and instructions that I can easily understand, and then it's game on from there. If I can really soak it in and take it into my heart, into my third eye, into my being, then that's all I need. So let's break it down a little bit more before we go into the co-creation part. We need to peel back that layers of the onion. I'd like you to imagine a stacked pyramid, like those food pyramids that are on all the boxes of things, right? And at the very top of that pyramid are our actions. The things that we do outside of us. And right below that are the feelings that drive those actions, right? And right below the feelings are the emotions in the middle that are then led by our beliefs at the bottom of this pyramid, okay? Our beliefs are the bottom of this layered upwards, correct? Our friend Google defines feelings as the physical experience of our emotions. And our emotions are our brain's electrical reactions to our beliefs. Okay, so we have actions, feelings, emotions, beliefs. We're told from a very young age, to change our actions and it will all be okay, right? What happens in this mindset is we become professionals at moving everything around on the outside to make everything look okay. to give that appearance of peace and having all of our stuff together. And all the while, my feelings and my emotions never quite line up to my actions. I'm not sure about you, but when I was growing up, I was never asked how I felt about anything. What did I believe to be true for me, right? We don't ask our children those questions. I know I didn't, and I wish I had. Now that I know all of this thing, I wish I had had more of those conversations with my children when they were growing up. And that was before I found the Centers for Spiritual Living. And Dr. Fred told me that it was up to me to remember who and what I was, to behave like God and I are one. And if I knew that and understood that, would I continue to make poor choices? Or would I wake up and remember who and what I am? Come to find out, though, I would stay asleep for quite a while longer as I continued to do my research. But all the while with these seeds planted of this teaching for many, many years, seeking bits and pieces until I was finally ready. When I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. In recovery, we call it having a head full of AA and a belly full of booze. When you have the basis of the information, right? And you're still out there doing crazy things. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's not a good combination. And the next right thing you should do, but you can't quite get it together long enough to make lasting changes. What I'm about to explain is exactly why. We go back to our onion. We're told to change our actions. We're told to hide our feelings. We're told that our emotions are not valid or real, especially if they're not outwardly accepted by society or whatever influences are around at the time, right? Friends, family, jobs, etc. But when we get down to the bottom of our pyramid, we find our beliefs by turning within. Again, the beliefs come from all of our experiences up to this point. From our families of origin, from our previous lives, all of those things, remember? They are the basis for everything in the pyramid going up in the process. When we finally learn this, we can examine those beliefs and decide how we feel about them. And we didn't necessarily choose consciously these beliefs. They're imprinted on us by many different influences at a very young age. Are we still hanging on to old patterns and things that no longer serve us? Are we hanging on to the beliefs of our parents because we never realized that we could come up with an interpretation of a God of our own understanding? We can take the belief that I am not enough, or I am incapable, or I am unworthy, and practice the opposites of those. That is the basic principle of real change, the examination of our core belief. Once I spend some time getting my feet under me with a new belief, all of my emotions and all of my feelings, and finally my actions started to change. These types of changes are long-lasting and life-changing. They allow us to then be the co-creator of the life we've always imagined. And not just pretended we had out here, right? But the life we have in here. This is how we take a concept and put it into real action. These past few weeks, COVID ran through our house, and that fear, and it ran through several friends' houses at the same time, but we got to deal with that fear. We got to, to have our experience and to come out on the other side. Robert had a very good friend die from COVID complications last week, and at the same time, in the same day, his third grandchild was born. So it's like what more information, or what more guidance do we need to, like, what's in the middle? What's in the middle of those both ends of the bookend of how I'm showing up every day? It really made me think. It's like, what do I want to be remembered for? What do I want to do with my life as a co-creator? How does it work and show up for me? What impact have I had on others? How have I co-created my life and shown up to support others to create theirs? When I did this work for myself, everything changed. People, places, everyday experiences. At first it was very discombobulating, not gonna lie, because even though the complete chaos was what my life was before, it was what I was used to. And even chaos can feel comfortable when it's something you've experienced your entire life. But then peace started showing up, and calm started showing up, and all of those things around me started changing because I examined the core beliefs and decided what I knew was true, and making those small incremental changes that then snowballed up the pyramid into my action. It does become second nature with time and with practice. Like everything else in our lives, we have to practice. We can't just read a book. We can't just do a meditation. We can't just show up to Sunday service and hope that all of these things are going to take place. We actually have to do the work. And I encourage you, because I know it was true for me when I decided to do the work and I turned within, it's become totally worth it. Totally worth it. I really appreciate everyone coming this morning. And I can't wait to have, that dialogue when we're done with the meditation of how things were changing for you when you started your spiritual awakening, because I really am interested in hearing, because there's so many different people on this call in different parts of their lives. And I really am interested to hear, and I'm sure everyone else on the call is too. So thank you very much. I appreciate you being here. So what I'd like